Welcome to the Explainer. So, if you've ever stared down a blinking cursor on a pitch-black terminal screen and felt, just a slight wave of panic, trust me, you are not alone. Today, we're taking those dry, kind of intimidating Cisco iOS commands and translating them into a dynamic day-in-the-life guide. We're going to tackle real-world networking tasks head-on. Our ultimate goal here is bridging that gap between textbook theory and confident command line execution. Let's get right into it.
Okay, let's dive into this roadmap. We're going to cover 1. Understanding iOS exec modes. 2. Essential navigation and shortcuts. 3. Real-world device onboarding. 4. Our Day 1 hardening checklist. And finally, 5. The golden troubleshooting sequence. We're logically progressing right from the basic rules of the game all the way up to an advanced troubleshooting workflow.
Section 1. Understanding iOS exec modes, the rules of the game and device access levels.
Think of Cisco iOS as having this strict, tiered security clearance system. You can think of user XX as basically the public lobby of a corporate building. You can look around, maybe check a few non-sensitive things, but you absolutely cannot touch anything important. Privileged EXX, on the other hand, is the staff-only control room. That's the mode that grants you full diagnostic access to really dig into the device.
Now notice how Cisco visually anchors you here so you don't get lost. Take a look at the CLI prompt column. When you're just hanging out in that public lobby, the user exec mode, your prompt ends with a simple greater than sign. But as soon as you escalate your privileges, boom, it changes to a pound sign, or a hashtag if you prefer. And if you step even further into global config mode to make device-wide changes, it actually tells you right there in parentheses. This means you always know exactly where you are and what level of clearance you hold just by glancing at your screen.
And this brilliantly illustrates a typical real-world scenario. Let's walk through it. You connect to the device and you land in user exec. You type enable to escalate, which hits you with a password prompt and then drops you right into privileged exec. From there, you type configure terminal. That gets you into the engine room, global config mode. Here's where you make your actual change, like setting a new hostname. Then you hit N to drop right back out to that privileged prompt. Finally, and this is absolutely crucial, you type copy run start. This takes your change from running memory and securely saves it to NVRAM so it actually survives a reboot. Literally, this is the core rhythm of every network engineer's day. Moving on to Section 2. Essential navigation and shortcuts, working efficiently under pressure in the field.
Picture this. You are out in the field, it's 2 a.m., the network is down, and you just can't quite remember the exact syntax to fix it. You definitely don't have time to pull up a manual, right? Well, these shortcuts are going to be your absolute best friend. First up, explore with the question mark for context-sensitive help. iOS will literally list every single valid keyword for you on the spot. Second, hit Tab to autocomplete your partial commands. It saves precious keystrokes and entirely prevents typos when you're in the zone. And third, use Show History to recall your previous entries. That alone saves you from having to painstakingly retype massive, complex configuration lines.
Okay, if you only take away one single shortcut from today, let it be this exact string of text. Do show IP into brief. Normally in iOS, if you're deep inside configuration mode and you need to run a quick diagnostics check, you'd have to back all the way out to privileged exec. Huge pain. But if you just type do in front of your show commands, it completely overrides that rule. This specific command is literally the ultimate daily cheat code. It allows you to run privileged checks, like seeing if an interface is up, without ever breaking your flow or leaving your current configuration context. Total game changer.
All right, Section 3. Real-world device onboarding, setting up a brand new device for production.
So put yourself in the shoes of an engineer unboxing a fresh switch and starting their shift. You've got this blank slate, and you need to give it an identity and set up some boundaries. It's actually a really simple logical workflow. Step 1, you set the host name. This establishes the device's identity so you always know exactly what hardware you're touching. Step 2, you configure the Moto D, the message of the day banner, for legal warnings. And Step 3, you configure the login banner for user instructions. It's a quick workflow, sure, but it immediately establishes critical security boundaries right out of the gate. Take a close look at this quote for the MOTD banner. Authorized access only. Now this isn't just dramatic flair, guys. It is a strict legal requirement in the real world. You must always include this specific unauthorized access warning language in your banners. Why? Well, without this digital no trespassing sign explicitly displayed on your device, taking any sort of legal action against an intruder down the line could be severely compromised.
Which brings us to Section 4.
Day 1 hardening checklist, securing the device before it goes live.
Getting a device to just pass traffic, that's not enough. We absolutely have to secure our workbench before it ever touches a live production network. And the order of operations here is incredibly deliberate. First, you set that privileged exec password. Then you encrypt all your plaintext passwords. Next, secure your console line and set an auto logout timer so idle sessions don't just stay open forever. And only then, finally, do you save the configuration. I really want to stress exactly why this specific order matters so much. If you save your configuration before setting up that secret password, you are writing a completely unsecured configuration directly to flash memory. If that device reboots, it comes back up totally exposed. Not good?
Finally, Section 5, the golden troubleshooting sequence, principles and commands for when things go wrong.
Let's be real. Things will break, and when they do, confidence and structure are absolutely everything. Seasoned pros don't just guess at the problem, they follow what we call the big 3 principles of network operations. First, master your show commands. Just looking at your running config, your interfaces, and your routes, that is going to answer 80% of all the questions on your network. Second, always save your configuration changes after you've successfully tested them. And third, document everything. Add descriptions to your interfaces, put clear remarks in your access lists, and back up those configs. I promise you, your future self will definitely thank you.
Now, let's look at this timeline. When you jump onto an unknown or broken device, this is the exact 5-command sequence every engineer should run, in order, every single time. Step 1. Run show version to check device uptime and see exactly why it reloaded last. Step 2. Show IP interface brief to just rapidly scan what's up or down. Step 3. Show IP route to inspect that routing table and confirm your paths are actually there. Step 4. Show running config to understand exactly how the device is currently set up. And Step 5. Show log to catch any recent errors, link flaps, or security events. It's a rapid-fire surgical assessment that gets you up to speed in seconds.
So what does this all mean for you? Well, we've mapped out the foundational rules, the specific shortcuts that are going to save you precious time, the exact hardening sequences that keep your gear secure, and that golden troubleshooting timeline. The CLI is waiting. Are you ready to open up a terminal and truly take control of your network? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep learning.